Hi, everyone. This is Karen Smiley. I'm the founder and leader of She Writes AI, and I'm here today with Farida Khalaf. She's one of the authors in our book, AI Everywhere, Volume 1. I'm going to start by interviewing Farida about her involvement with the book, and then she's going to ask me a few questions. Farida, please tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do.
Okay, my name is Farida Khalaf. I'm actually Egyptian. I grew up between France and United States, and now I moved to Mexico. I'm passionate about diving, so I moved here as a digital nomad. I'm actually economist by degree, and I've spent more than 15 years with the United Nations working with them in WFP and World Bank in terms of programs and implementing stations. My experience in statistics helped me to be focused on the data engineering as a data analytics and actually helped me transition to AI because part of my work is pattern recognition, just to get a pattern of the things happening, to make it visible, to help decision making happen inside. So we learn how to shape all this data to explain it in a better format for decision making in matters in reports. So this is what I do. I do some consulting service for data engineering and efficiency of data and privacy of data on cloud. I'm very passionate about cybersecurity. Actually, I'm a CISO and I have a degree in intrusion detection. I do a lot of penetration testing and bounty hunting, which is open like treasure hunting. It's very challenging. The storytelling of the process is actually what led me in cybersecurity. So this is my background and this is what I do. Yes. I've been working a lot with diversity. I've been working in many countries because I've been placed in station. So this gave me an edge. Sometimes I speak Spanglish, I speak Franglish, I speak Arabic. So sometimes I translate. When you work with the international community, it's normal. For example, when we are in the UN, in the headquarters, and we have to write certain things, sometimes we lost in translation. So I hope people will get over my accent because it already exists. I'm aware of it. And some translation will happen in metaphor.
Yeah, anyone who speaks with an accent, it means they've learned more than one language, and I admire that in anyone. Your accent's no trouble to
Yes.
understand. So how many languages do you actually speak?
By birth, I'm Egyptian Turkish. My mom is Turkish, so I speak Arabic and Turkish as mother language. And English is by education. I am actually French educated. I speak in French, I write in French. It's French and English because I went to university in the US. And for working experience, because I work in Latin America, I acquired Spanish. So Spanish, English, French, and Turkish are my main language that I mastered. A little bit of German, a little bit of Italian for the work purpose as well. Am I going to say I'm competing in them? But I totally understand.
Wow, that is impressive. So thank you for sharing all that. You've definitely got a multicultural background. And that's one of the things I actually really enjoy about this book is that we do have people from many cultures
Diversity.
representing, yes, not just that we're all women and non-binary folks, but that we are also diverse in a lot of other dimensions. And I think that's just so cool.
It's very important to share experience because there is no one good experience. There is experiences in plural format. And it's like to see all these women together that we are aligned in our vision in how we critique AI, how we tackle AI. Actually, we are in the same group.
Great. I'd like to hear a little bit about how your experiences as a woman working in technology have shaped your views about AI.
So, as a woman in technology, we all deal with gender bias. I've been dealing with it, trying to let my work prove it. It's like I have to work maybe 10 times harder just to prove that I'm equal to my male peers. The stereotype exists, and then you realize that fighting the stereotype is wasting of your time, it's wasting your energy and draining. So you let your work speak, but the gender bias exists. What I have noticed with AI, because AI is a tool now, all the managers are looking for the outcome of the AI, so they trust AI regardless who's submitted. So now AI helped me to be seen and be heard, not from the gender bias, but the problem exists. It just get masked. Now it is the quality of AI. So women now who are professional can master it, and the tool can help them be in the front row, in the front line, simply by mastering the AI tool, because now everyone is looking at the AI. It's AI product. It's not you. It's stripped from me as a person, as a woman, but it gave a lot of credit to the AI itself, but it still put me on top of the line. It put me head to head with peer. So it solves one problem and causes another.
Right.
But I'm happy with it because now I can say, oh, look at my work. It really matters. And they take it with credibility and trust, but not because it's coming from me. It's too much weight to AI, unfortunately. But it is what it is. This is what we are dealing with. And
Yes.
I'm sure we are dealing with the same. It's not just me. It's like in every culture, the same stereotype exists.
Let's talk a little bit about the book. I'd like to hear, first of all, how did you first learn about She Writes AI in our community?
And actually, through you, I've been following you on Substack. When I joined Substack, I realized that I'm not alone. I'm not the only crazy one that is out of the hype or not following this or not following that. And I joined lots of good women that, oh, I'm not alone. I'm not just burning out. And I've seen your post and actually I DM'd you and I asked you if I can join and you welcomed me. And actually this meant a lot to me because you didn't know me, you didn't know about my work and you accepted me and you said, yes, you are free to join. I joined from the start from a simple post and we created and your vibe was really, really contagious. I enjoyed actually following your steps and your passion and how to collect. The movement is like, for me as a woman, because I believe in women empowerment and we need to stand up for each other, it was very touching and relating personally to me. I enjoyed it from day one, from the first post. I was on the first row on the list.
Yes, you were one of the first respondents. I remember when I first floated the idea of the book project, you said I didn't know your work, but I actually did go look up your work. It's like, okay, it's really neat that Farida found me. Who is she and what does she do? And I looked at your profile and thought, yeah, she'll have some good contributions. And so I was really happy that you
Like,
volunteered to join the
yes,
project.
Substack really show us this bonding that we don't need time because what I'm talking about and what I'm seeing, we are aligned in vision. So the bonding becomes fluid and easy. There is no hidden agenda. We are sharing the same thing. We are grounded in the same perspective. So it's easy to get along. And thank you for believing and creating this community. It's really needed all over. And I hope it's going to expand and to be more and to strengthen all over the world. No bias. Just we are here for each other.
Yes, yes, that's our vision. And anything that we can all do to help each other along the way is something that I'm personally very committed to. So I'm really happy that you and so many others have felt that it's helping you and giving you value and that you're able and willing to give back to other people as well. And that's just really awesome to see. So for the book, first of all, you're doing these interviews to help other women authors get more visibility, which I think is great. You also wrote not just one, but two chapters for the book. So can you tell us a little bit about each of the two chapters that you wrote for the AI Everywhere book on agriculture and cybersecurity?
Yes. First of all, I picked this to be not just out of my knowledge, but I would like to show the contrast because in agriculture, you will see it is the beauty of AI, how to be applied. Because when it comes to this industry or this field, AI here is dealing only with measurable and concise data. So the output can really outperform everything. So when it comes to agriculture domain, it's purely data driven. So you can see the beauty of AI and the application of the better work, better yield, better crops, and better results. You can see all the beauty that have been marketed as AI. In AI cybersecurity, it's like the yin and yang. I'm extracting the intricacy and the complexity and the dark side that can happen from the beauty of such tool. So these two chapters, they are actually working like a mirror glass. You can see the AI beauty and its shadow that already exists and most people ignore. For the AI agricultures, like I mentioned, we can calculate the light rays, wind direction, how to get the crop, if it needs pesticides, the soil, the supply chain. It's all the irrigation process. We can really reach or with platform or framework to help farmer to reduce risk, to reduce the labors, to get better crop yields, to get better results, to make things that it's back to normal, not pesticide, or to eliminate Monsanto. There is a lot of programs that can really happen. And I have seen it here, especially in Mexico and the corn because it's heritage, how they can reserve it and keep it. Most people don't know. One of the most nutrition is the blue corn and the red corn, not just the yellow corn that is very popular. How to maintain it and go back to the real one, not genetically modified, but how to maintain the soil to get what it needs. When it comes to data driven, AI can really, really help. because there is a human supervision because it's us who work on it, but the bias is removed. That human behavior, which can be tended to this or tended to that, it's gone. So in agriculture and even in climate change, in any mathematicals, you will see AI really strive to the top. And it can amplify to the best performer and outperform many humans in this one due to the scaling capability inherited in as a technology. In cybersecurity, it's totally different because we are dealing with a human trait. Because as a human, we were born to err. So error is part of who we are. It's not something to be ashamed of. It's not something to be afraid of. It's natural and it happens. And we are actually restricted to our upbringing, education, epigenetic, DNA, limitation. And this one considers them like backdoors because they affect our behavior and choices. And this is all let bad actors, whether they exist from day one, from God created, there is good people and bad people. Bad actor exists. We cannot just think it doesn't exist. They will abuse and manipulate those backdoors in us. So in cybersecurity, I'm not trying to be an alarmist. I'm just trying to tell you bad actors exist and there is a butterfly effect because you speak to people and they will tell you, I don't have nothing to hide. It's okay. But you don't get it. Simple action can have a butterfly effect that can affect, and you don't know what avenues and rabbit hole you go into it when you just post a picture. Bad actor platform will take it as needed, but other people will take it in different ways to extract something. Unfortunately, the attention economy created as well exploitation economy. So when visibility is actually the pursuit that everyone is a game to be played, we are rushed to use and give more without understanding the damage. So in cybersecurity, especially now with AI, it's getting better every day. It's like the nightmare is real. It's come to be day-to-day life. So how to make a decision? Because people doesn't read the terms and conditions. They make them small for a purpose. And now the accountability will be on me whose shoulder. It's you own accountability as well as the other platform. But the platform is protected legally. Now you are exposed to the air, to the wall, to how. And in this chapter, I tried my best to explain what is the framework. I demystified a little bit of the intricacy and complexity of what can happen and how bad actors use it. And how can you protect yourself or just be aware? Because you cannot hide. I now is going to be integrated in our life. It's the status quo. We cannot stop it anymore. But at least we can be aware of our action and maintain our agency. Because one of the things I've noticed, our agency is being stripped away from us. It's taken away silently. And we need to stop that because the ramification of it is going to be really, really damaging.
That's a really good summary, and I like the way you've contrasted the two chapters as mirror images
The
are
beauty-
complementary. So
Yes, yin and yang, the beauty, because in AI agriculture, you read it, you will see, wow, what is the beauty? Because actually it works. There is good technology in it, and it's mathematical. I always call it it's DOS and destroyed because it's just formulas and pattern recognition. And in this field, it outperforms all a human task in shorter time. It's really good. But on the other hand, in our personal lives, in our day-to-day activities, it has dark sides because bad actors will abuse it and manipulate it. In exploitation economy, in the pursuit of visibility, you are prey to many. And we all have backdoors, feelings, emotions, as I said, epigenetic limitations, dreams, desires, they all affect us. And before we recognize it, damage is done.
I think it's important to point out when we talk about AI, a lot of people think of AI as ChatGPT and the other chatbots that just came out in the last couple of years, whereas AI and machine learning have been around for decades now, literally. When we talk about, for instance, agriculture, there's probably very little or no generative AI involved. It's really more the machine learning and making predictions and such, right? And looking at the correlations, what will give you a better crop yield and such. In cybersecurity, is that also true, or do you see generative AI more creeping into that?
Yes, I've seen it in agriculture, like in Canada, there is a farm because they deal with a lots of weather issue for the cold, especially they're major exporter for the apple. So how to preserve the apple from being frozen or from the cold or thing, how to make the size of the apple, the taste of the apple, because apples has huge varieties. AI can really help with the irrigation, with how to protect it from the weather and either with the climate, how to put the shades, the irrigation process, the supply shade. It really, really helps and save us a lot and reduce the waste, which is something for the CO2 and climate change as well. It can really help. So it works. And I have seen lots of programs implemented in many rural area, in many desertifications, in third world country. I don't want to label names so people don't get into this, but there is undeveloped worlds that they are not aware. I hope anyone, any woman who are aware of AI technology to introduce it to these people, to farmers, because it really works. While in cybersecurity, still we need to advocate, especially if you have children, if you are dealing with your personal life. I know people that they get an anxiety when people know too much about their lives, their health. They need to be safe and protected. Their tolerance is limited. We need to respect that because there is no one solution for everyone. We need to accept the differences and limitation of each one of us.
Yeah, that's a good summary. So thank you for sharing that. I'd like to hear a little bit about your writing process for writing these 2 chapters and what role AI tools played, if they played a role in your writing.
First of all, I'm an old-fashioned still. I'm still analog, so I still write notes. So I've taken a lot of writing workshop, and in my writing workshop, I remember that we need to make a skeleton. So I first list my ideas, and once I list, I scaffolding them so one build on another to have fluidity to keep the reader engaged. And after that, I need to do the due diligence, which we call the arms and legs, how we are supporting these messages. And actually, this is where AI comes in because sometimes, especially in fields like there is a daily research or weekly research or new updates, I might be outdated with my information or I'm not aware of what's happening. And here AI comes handy when I tell him, like, what is the last research on this one? Check my data and verify me some citation that cement or enhance my argument or to give this credibility or trust. And AI send them in this one perfectly well, better than me. I will never be aware of what's happening because it can scrap all the internet faster than me. And as well, because English is not my first language, I assume I master it, but it's still some metaphor and some little things I can be lagging behind and out of translations, like the sentence structure, grammar wise. He corrects me, but my notes here comes handy because I make sure that he doesn't change my tone or the message I want to deliver. Because, every time with every prompt, he adds a layer and layer and layer and the tweak, it's out of context. It is not what you want. It's no longer your voice. It's related, but no longer your voice, no longer your message. So here, my notes, I still write with pen and paper, and it's really helped me to stay authentic with total agency. This is my work. And when I go in a meeting, I know what I wrote, I know what is the output, I can debate it freely because it's my angle. So AI helped me? Yes, it does. In tightening my verbose to be more accessible. Part of my job is writing reports. I know that some reports need to be brief. So I know every word has a weight. It's not about the length. It's not about how information you give. It's about how precise and concise you are. You need to not strip it from emotion, but not to strip it from the value or the message it has to deliver. And there is psychological and strategy, and AI can help you with that because sometimes you want to share too much, but sometimes it's not needed. It can take you off-road. So AI can really help if you are in control, if you know what you want, you have an image of the output desired, not to leave it to him. So I use it. I'm not going to deny it. I use open.
Yes,
I try to exploit it the way he exploited my data.
it sounds like you mostly use it for a search assistant and for editing. It doesn't write for you. You write with it and have it help you.
If it writes for me, what my input is like, I don't want it to be reduced to just to be codes or a component in AI. I wanted the opposite. AI is a tool in my component output.
Great. Well, I've read through your chapters and I was really impressed, and I think readers will get a lot from it. I'm wondering, what do you think readers should expect, and what do you hope they'll take away from reading your chapters?
What I hope always with my writing is I'm not making decision for others. I'm just giving them the awareness or the understanding how the dynamic and the complexity is, and they decide for themselves. Because sometimes too much information is hurtful and less information is hurtful. So I'm trying to give them what they need, the basic pillars to make better decisions. There is no right or wrong. There is no good or bad, but there is what is fits you right now. What is good for you right now, what you are dealing with. You are the person. You need to be aware of yourself and what you need and what you can handle, what you can tolerate. Because anxiety is real, our burning is real, FOMO is real. And you know what? Attention economy and exploitation economy manifest on that. So if I'm going to help you to make a better decision, so you're going to have equilibrium and peace. You're going to be a good person. And this is what we want to do. We want to live in a society that we are all happy or at least in peace. We are not in conflict zone. We are not in an anxiety. We are not under stress because the information exists in, as God says, seek and you will find. So if you want to seek something, I will share it with you. I'm not going to hold it. If you have a question, raise it. And here it is. If you are looking for something, whether it's online, you should find it. So in my writing, I try to demystify or simplify things for accessibility. This is what we can do. We cannot make anything choosing for people because we are stripping them their growth experience because you grow only by mistakes. So let them do mistake and learn for themselves, but show them the route, give them a guidelines, give them a framework, and let them learn to maneuver. It's like driving. You learn driving, you take driving classes, but the street will teach you something else. And your experience will strengthen you and make you, it's like you drive, looking at mirror or don't look at mirror, or like with a speed, with no speed, you handle, you're thinking, you're talking on the phone. I know women who can put makeup while driving. They do a lot of things. But this multitasking comes from experience, yet you can handle the car. And you know how to maneuver. And this comes with practice, not by telling you left and right and rules. So I hope to share awareness, make the information accessible so people can make decisions for themselves because our brain function, we are born as well, not gifted with defective processing. All our processing takes time. We learn things this time and people don't let time play its role. They want it now, like hit and run, but let's do it and things like this. And haste bring waste. It's our friend who has beautiful newsletter. We need to slow down. We need to digest. We need to consider information. And we understand that nothing is standalone. It's a cycle. And everything is interconnected with each other. Although it looks independent, but the interconnectedness exists. And the effect and ramification implication exist. Just to see them or to be aware of them is actually what I want to give to any reader to my newsletter or my chapter or anything.
Thank you for sharing all that perspective and in your context. I think those are good lessons, and I hope a lot of people will have a chance to enjoy your chapters. Is there anything that you were hoping I would ask you that I didn't ask?
I hope someone to ask me, what do you suggest, especially for my friends who has teenagers or children, what they should do with AI in privacy? Because I have seen cases, especially with deepfake, and it's unfortunately increasing. There's people that they are, if you're wealthy and you have a daughter, even if also you're keeping it her safe, they're going to take a picture and make a movie of her and start extortion. So for this reason, I keep saying, protect yourself, don't share where you are or keep things private. My best advice for anyone, personal or professional, to my client or to my friends, if you really worry about safety or privacy, keep it analogous. Keep it out of the cloud, keep it out of grid. So we need to consider the analogous process as a choice. It doesn't mean that we are into innovative, to follow the technology, to follow the hype, to join the wagon, to do everything. still don't overlook the past, because the past worked and worked really good. So keep it handy. Don't just turn the page. Keep it as option. If you feel, just to remove that anxiety from you, if it's going to cause you a problem, if it's going to affect your freedom, it's going to put you under stress or any peril, keep analogous as option. Yeah, this is actually an advice. And there is a tendency now, even for companies, to start hitting things, especially with the rise of agents, of the grid, to keep it safe and protected and limit the access to the cloud. And we are going to see this increasing, I guess.
I'm glad you brought that up. We have a total of 24 chapters in the book. You've got 2 of them, but we do have chapters on parenting in the age of AI, and we've got others on education and how children's data is being used. It's definitely a really important area.
Yes. I interviewed Danny, who wrote about AI and parenting, and she was eye-opening because I'm dealing it from data perspective, and she's dealing from empathy and children and raising and growing. I don't have children myself, and it was a fantastic interview. I need just to polish it and publish it. She has lots of great insight. I learned from her perspective on how to shelter and grow in terms not to be outcasted, because this is very important. You will see child, we are mimicry society. When they go to kindergarten, go school, and everyone with pads and telephones, and why not me? So we need a collective will. Every society needs to decide the collective will on how to protect children, especially parenting in certain ways. It cannot happen in isolation.
Thank you for sharing all that.
Thank you so much for your time and for the opportunity to talk. And I'm happy to meet you actually in person, virtually.
Likewise.
Yes, we have been talking a lot. Here I am. I'm ready to answer if anyone have questions regarding my chapter or any further information or explanation. I will be happy to tackle them one by one.
And if you can just say the name of your Substack newsletter for everybody.
Yes, it's lights on, because my job is to shed lights. Okay, look at this. This shadow exists, but if I put lights on it, maybe you take account for it. Yes. So it's lights on, and I write about economics, business, and some behavior, how we interact with things.
Great. Oh, thank you so much.
No,
Your
you're
turn,
very welcome.
I think.
Yes. I would like to hear about, I know women can multitask, but how can you shuffle the challenge to deal with diversity? We are in different locations geographically, a different time zone. What was the challenge and struggle you faced in collecting 24 women to work together in one project? Because I understand that I work with team managers, like how to handle them, but sometimes it's difficult to put them in the tandem.
I've been working with global teams for over 20 years. Even back in the early 2000s, I was working with a global team of researchers, and I ran projects with people that I never met in person, mixed teams across different countries and different types of experience. So it's something that I've gotten comfortable with, and I really enjoy meeting people from other cultures and learning their perspectives. That's something that I welcomed. And it's also something that I think made me aware that we don't all share the same values. And that's not a criticism that any one set of values is better than the other, but they're just different communities. And I learned about this from Rebecca Mbaya as well, her chapter on the African philosophies. And they think much more of community as opposed to this individualistic view that is so prominent in the US. And it's, I think, just so interesting to learn about that and to challenge my own assumptions. Everyone that I've met in other countries, I've learned something from, and that's certainly been true on this book. And that was something that I felt was important to highlight in the book, is that we have all of these different perspectives and experiences. And for the most part, these voices have not been heard. They've been drowned out by the people with all the money and the power.
Yeah.
And their hype just drowns out the voices of real people who are doing real things with AI, with generative AI and non-generative AI, and their voices and their experiences and the biases in the data and in the systems that are being developed. They were just kind of hidden. And that's why I ended up starting my own podcast originally in August 2024 to try to highlight some of those voices. And then I think you know the origin story for She Writes AI, about how we saw this post on Substack for someone to say, here are 10 people you should be following on AI. And all 10 were men. And I thought, this is just not right.
Oh,
So I messaged the guy privately and I said, look, there are no women in your list. He said, oh, I just didn't know of any. I'd only been on there for some months and I was already subscribed to 34 women. So there's no shortage of women. And so I just said, oh, okay, you know what? No excuses. Here's my starter list. And then I started finding more and other people started telling me about more. And from December 2024, it grew from this list of 34 women that I had already found. We're recording this in early March 2026. We're well over 600 women from more than 60 countries. That diversity in so many dimensions is out there. We have people across 16 different categories, and that diversity and that set of perspectives, I learned from every one of them. It's a lot of work, but it's really been a joy to discover and to especially find newer writers that are just getting started and to help them build their voices and help them connect with their audiences. And I've just really been loving that. That's where that came from. So wrangling 24 chapter authors for a book is, again, it's some work, but it's so rewarding. I loved it.
yeah, I'm sure it was challenging and joyful in the same time because lifting other women, for me, it's a pleasure. It's especially people who comes from my culture, from the Eastern Hemisphere. We were raised to be silenced, to be set aside, and standing up like really is something we enjoy.
Yes.
We really enjoy. So you wrote a book about AI ethics, and I got it. It's very informative and very eye-opening in many avenues. And then you make the AI everywhere. Is there any connection, or you have this vision to scaffold the idea? Let's build the ethics, the awareness. Now let's get the domain, how to apply it. Is there a connection between them, or they totally independent from each other?
Yeah, I think they're more closely related than even I realized at first, because this whole mission of supporting women, supporting people who's been underrepresented and overlooked and don't have the voice that they ought to be able to have, that was the impetus for the Everyday Ethical AI book, to try to help people learn about the risks that were out there, risks of privacy, and as you mentioned, the deep fakes and just everything that goes with that, the environmental impacts and the exploitative practices that underlie it that most people weren't even aware of, and the choices that we aren't always given or that aren't being made clear to us. So that whole aspect of it is why I wrote the Everyday Ethical AI book. I felt like it was a way that I could help more people to learn about that I could reach just through my own newsletter directly. And at the same time that I was launching She Writes AI, that directory, in response to that post, I was invited by a professional publisher to be in a collaborative book as a chapter author. And my chapter was going to be on AI and data for entrepreneurs. And I thought that this project would help me to get established as a published book author and learn the ropes of publishing. So I invested in it. Now that project has been delayed and that book is still in the works. At least I think it's still in the works. As of now, when I wanted to publish my own book, I decided I'm just going to go ahead and do it myself and I'll teach myself the ropes as I go. But that project kind of planted the idea of a collaborative book in my head. And then I was starting to look in our She Writes AI directory. I said, well, let me find other women who have actually written books and see how many we had hundreds of women. And even now we only have, I think, about 40 books in our book list, which seems awfully low. So I started thinking, why haven't more women published books? I mean, Substack's a platform for writers. You would think there would be
Yes.
lots of books and lots of writers, but I wasn't finding them. So that seemed quite low. And I started thinking about why. And as I was working on a book, I'm realizing, okay, this self-publishing, this is a lot of work. And there's a lot of very steep learning curves on the tools and the systems and the process you go through with getting advanced readers and just everything outside of the actual writing probably took more time than my actually writing the book. And that could be, I thought, something that would inhibit women from publishing, to even just to be a contributor on the professionally published book is expensive. And publishing a whole book by yourself can be expensive. So I thought that cost could obviously be a factor. And then as I got through learning how to publish my book, I thought, well, maybe this is something else I can do that would help more women to build their visibility, to build their authority in their fields, to be able to participate in a collaborative book. And that was really the impetus for the idea. So I made that post and put out the invitation, and I got such great response. Like, wow, this is something that we can do. I initially thought there would be some money involved because of outlays for things like cover design and editing and the interior book design. And some of the authors said, I'd love to do this, but that's a lot of money. And so they withdrew. But we were lucky. We found some additional volunteers besides me who have experience in publishing some of their own books. So with that volunteer effort, and we got one sponsor who was very generous. Among all that, we were able to make it so that the authors didn't have to put in any cost share on this book. Yeah, so there's no cost share required for any of the chapter authors, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to keep doing that for the future volumes. That, I think, will take away another barrier for some of the authors who weren't able to participate in volume 1. And I decided that it needs to be 24. It sounds like a lot of authors and topics, but AI is so big and our world is so big, and there are so many experiences and voices that need to be heard. So, oh, we're doing volume 2, and then maybe volume 3, and we'll see.
Yes, like, the AI isn't, it will need an update in that maybe 3 months or 6 months to add what's happening, because it can be outmatched for what is currently doing it right now. I learned from you, actually, because I published a book about women to remember. I selected 100 women that already shaped our society in terms of art, technology, science, activism. Their voices, I wanted to shed light on them. They exist, and we can pursue them, not to be silenced or step aside or to have a cold feet. Women already tackle every avenue possible. They challenge everything else in front of them, all the struggles they dealt with, and some accomplishment need to be cherished and actually spoken about it out loud, and teach our children. Don't be afraid of challenge. There is a woman who dealt with that. Check her out and learn from her and build on it. Use it as a reference. There is always a woman who dealt with that. Regardless where you are or your education or your culture, there is a woman who did it, who went through what you are dealing with right now. From 1500 or 500 BC, they existed. And we need to believe more in ourselves. The book is more about woman empowerment, but it aligns with you from the angle like we should stand and we should let our voice heard and be known. Our heroes shouldn't be the Avengers or, Catwoman or Hercules or all these male figure. We have women who shaped history, who shaped science, who shaped technology, who shaped the legal arena, who shaped everything, who shaped civilization itself in leadership. And we should take heed of them. So I love your AI community that you are building, because I can see that, I don't know what is your metrics. It's like, I know that everyone is welcome, and your guideline as long to respect each other, and all the people engaging, actually, they are extremely professional. Our exchange is really, really helpful. I don't know if you have a metric or guidelines for acceptance, but it's the fact that it's open, that it's not biased toward any mold to fit in, which is actually the beauty of it. Because anyone can just be herself. Come with your culture, come with your knowledge, come with your experience, and just share it, and let's grow together.
Yes, that's exactly the spirit of the community. The requirement for joining is if you're a woman or non-binary, then you just fill in the form with the information that you want in your directory listing. Pretty much the only person, I've left them in the directory, but I took out their newsletter, was a newsletter that wasn't suitable for people that are underage, because we do have some high school students who are in our community and interesting, and I wanted to keep the digests safe for all ages. So that one, she's in the directory, but her newsletter doesn't go in the digest. But other than that, pretty much it's open to any woman, cis or transgender. It doesn't matter. And I wanted it to feel welcoming and supportive, and I hope that vibe has come through. And for choosing people for the book, that was a little different, because there we're looking for people that understand, have authority, and have knowledge in specific topics, and have experiences that they can share and that they are comfortable writing about and writing well. We got some great responses, and I've actually got a lot of good expressions of interest on volume 2 already. So that's really
Yes,
proving to be
it's
fun.
good.
But for the book, it's funny on Substack the other day, someone asked me, well, is this an anti-AI book? I think the way she put it was, I hope this is an anti-AI book. And my answer was, it's not. It's not. The book isn't anti-AI and it's not pro-AI. Our community has a whole spectrum. The requirement for the community is not that you use AI, but that you write about it. And some people write about what their concerns are, their ethical concerns or practical concerns, and why they don't use it. And that's okay. And there are other people that write about why they do use it, and that's okay. We're not here to judge people for how or why they use it. We're here to help support writers in writing about that. The focus is the writing. So the book, I would say, is neither. It's not pro AI, it's not anti AI. We've got kind of a mixture. And that's
Yeah.
intentional because that's what reality looks like. Reality is not on either of those extremes.
I read the book because we in the peer review process. I have to thank Cassandra for doing a great job with me and you as well. With your patience with my chapter. It was a learning curve, actually. The fact that everyone sharing his perspective, you cannot say it, we are going this way. It's like point and a vector, and everyone is coming from a vector perspective from a different angle, which is actually give it richness. People will enjoy it because you will book the chapter or the domain you are interested in, and you're going to read a professional perspective. I know that the launching is hopefully on 15. It's already on Amazon. Congratulations on the top one tier suggestions. I already published it on LinkedIn as well because it's an accomplishment. So what do you hope for volume 2? What is going to be volume 2? Is it a continuation of volume 1 or is it going to take a different angle?
Yeah, it's a collaborative work. My overall vision is that we have books that share experiences and practical tips and diverse views and values that people have around AI around the world. We have some rough categories. We have home, society, and business and the how-tos. But beyond that, I just want to see what people want to write about. I didn't try to control that in volume 1, and I think it turned out pretty well. We got a really good distribution. The only thing that I really look for is to make sure that we don't have two people writing about pretty much the same thing. That
Yeah.
each chapter is distinct and adds something different that's of value to a reader. Beyond that, I'm excited to see what proposals come in. I've approached a few people. I did go out of my way to look for people who are outside the US so we don't dominate the book. I think that's important to have that diversity aspect. And if it doesn't arise naturally, then I'm going to go look for it. I think we've got a good balance right now in the list of proposals that have come up so far for volume 2. And probably some of them will shift out to a volume 3. That would be next year. But I like the momentum that we're seeing in the interest. Volume 1, it's #1 hot new release. We haven't reached #1 bestseller yet, but I'm really hoping that we get there by lunch day on Sunday. It's always category specific. It's like we're not the #1 hot new release in all of Amazon, but within our categories, right? Yes, that's pretty cool. We're the #1 hot new release in social aspects of the internet. And that's the category that Cory Doctorow's Enshittification book is in. So that's a pretty good category. So it's exciting to see that people are already recognizing, hey, this could be a really cool resource for me to learn and to understand. I'm excited about that. And I hope that we can connect with more people. That was the whole goal of the book, for us to connect among ourselves as writers and for us to reach readers that we don't reach otherwise, who maybe don't live in the Substack ecosystem like we do.
It's very important, that visibility, because actually the time we're living in, we need to be visible. And the only things to make us visible is our work. Because in the abundance of everything, originality and genuine voices is actually where you stand out. So for the AI community, I know that you write the curated digest list. I'm happy to feature in it often, but this curated list is actually a good process for people to start with. So do you have any vision for the She Write AI community, not just for the book? How to continue in the progress? Are you hoping to create like a library on topics or domains so people can go to it? Or to be women Wikipedia for AI? So having everyone share his perspective and have any plan with the community, because it's actually a great initiative.
Yeah, I like that idea, Women's Wikipedia for AI. We might have to put that on our idea list. At this point, I think we've got even more ideas than we have volunteers. We're all volunteers, so we have to work within. Everybody's got lives. Women especially tend to, they're basically working two jobs, right? Working at home. We all have interest and passion for this, but we also have limitations. Yes, yes. So we have a lot of ideas on things we'd like to do. The digests were the first thing, and every week I hear from more and more people about how valuable it is to have this one summary of over 300 articles from our community in different categories and highlighting some wild cards that might be overlooked. And people are just really finding that valuable. And I am posting them. I started up a community presence on LinkedIn for us to help to reach, again, new people that we aren't connecting with necessarily on Substack. And that seems to be working well. So we're going to try to continue that. The tool is pretty automated thanks to some work that Karen Spinner had done last year. There's still some manual work, but I'm hoping that I can keep that going. And obviously the books, once volume 1 is out, I do have my own second book on ethical AI that's in the works, but I've kind of had it on the back burner because I really want to get our book series established and out there. I'll personally come back to that, but I really feel like I'm enjoying so much the Art She Writes AI community, what we're doing and how we're supporting each other. I just love seeing that. And we'll look at what the community wants and what people need and what fits within their bandwidth. One idea we've kicked around is starting up a mentorship program, especially for newer writers or for people in countries where they haven't had that support system so much. But again, we're all volunteers. The mentors would be volunteers. And so
Yes.
we don't want to launch it and then not have the time put into it to make it successful and make it work for people. So I think when we get more volunteers or if someone wants to step up and lead that, then we can look at launching it. I need to go find your book, Women to Remember. Have you seen Celeste Garcia's new Her Story series where she's
Yes.
profiling the women in AI? Well, that's a cool
Yes.
connection there. Christina Patrick had set up our first networking session. We had that kicked off for the first time last month in February. That was, I think, pretty successful. We made some good connections there. I'd like to see more of those events. As I said, we're getting more volunteers. Christina had volunteered to try to help coordinate those events, but I'm sure she would appreciate having more people involved. Live events could be interesting. I don't do video myself. I promised my family that just as a matter of privacy. So I won't be
No.
doing recorded video, but anyone who wants to, I think that's totally cool.
Yeah.
And if we want to start up a podcast, maybe initially for these author interviews, but then we could also end up using a She Writes AI podcast for other interviews, maybe interviewing with a community member and just have them talk about what they do with AI. And that would be another way that we could help people get visibility. You could host it if you would be interested. Something to think about.
Yeah. I think with the topic I'm interested in, like Lakshmi with Daniel, lots of topic is overlapping. I'm happy to discuss it because I have some, I'm not going to say it's the same depth as them, but at least the understanding to handle the conversations. From the other one, I'm just a reader. It depends on which chapter. I'm not going to say it's like I wear different hats, but it's still in certain domains. And like this one, I can converse properly in 3D and can add a value or get a value. The other, I'm just a reader who learn. So I can participate for sure. If there is anything from my end, I will definitely participate in the community, in women empowerment, women solidarity. Count me in immediately. I would say yes, 100% yes. Because living and traveling in many even rural areas, I realized that we need to reach out. We need to destroy these walls we built, social images, social criteria, and it built walls and left many people outside. And I think we need to destroy that by just turning this wall down and reaching out. Okay, you are very welcome. And actually, this is how we're going to get stereotypes. Like if you're this, you're that. I was labeled everything, being Egyptian, being Muslim, being terrorist, being bullied, being outdated, being conservative. We heard this all and we dealt with it. And stereotype is real. It's not just bias. We need to give benefits of that and reach out to have a better tomorrow for our kids and for our society. We don't need to be stressed and God says, seek and you will find. I believe that anyone knocks your door, you should answer as long as it's coming with good faith. And I think your initiative is really, really, really helpful. And it will help a lot, especially to raise people's sound voice from Africa, from Asia, from Latin America, different voices, different perspective, different culture. It's amazing. It is really amazing. I'm really impressed and I'm happy to be part of it.
Yeah, it may have started as my community, but I think it has become our community, and that just makes me really happy. So yeah, I'm glad you're part of it.
Me too. I really enjoyed being welcomed in your group. Thank you for the opportunity to write these 2 chapters. I hope reader will enjoy them.
Thank you, Farida. I appreciate your time, and
Very
thank
well.
you for interviewing me. And we'll look forward to hearing your other interviews with the other authors. I can't wait.
Yes.